Hot dog. I think we're cooking with gas. Okay. All right, so today we are going to talk about the capstone presentation. This is the seminar for the capstone presentation. And after this seminar, we'll take questions. We'll get everybody straight and see if anybody has any questions about the capstone or just about, anything else you need to talk to me about, because this is the last time we're going to whole group meet until our final seminar. So this is pretty exciting, right? Everybody's good? Yeah. Smile. I need to see people give me feedback and smiling today because I have had a rough one. So, okay, first things first. You may have heard from people who graduated last semester about this. Has anybody heard about this? Yeah. Okay, well, kind of erase it just a speck because it has been tweaked. It has been changed. But it's going to be for the better, okay? Are we good with this? All right, in the past, it's worked a few different ways. Some people have went in and presented the information and then taken questions at the end. Some people have went in and sat down and said, what do you want to know? And let the graders, the judges, ask you questions. That's not how it is. This is not a question and answer, okay? This is a presentation. It's a formal presentation. That's the first thing that you need to just get in your head. All right, if you are presenting, I have to do presentations all the time, for different people here on campus and different things. There are certain things I remember when I'm presenting for these folks versus when I'm just talking to Dr. Lockwood about something, okay? That's a little different. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Did everybody get a copy of the directions and a copy of the rubric when they walked in and signed in? Yes. So let's look at the directions first. This breaks down every single thing that you need to know prior to and how you're going to introduce yourself. We're going to talk about this in just a second, but we're going to go over each component of this rubric first. All right. So what is the capstone? It's a formal presentation where students have the opportunity to discuss their first placement of student teaching in detail and reflect upon their unit. Okay. You need to know your unit you taught inside and out. You've already written your TPA, right, on this unit, which was, how many pages we got?
181.
See, he knew. Hundreds of pages. I knew somebody would be able to shoot off exactly how many. So you know this inside and out. So you should be able to present and discuss. All right? Okay, so the elements of the presentation. Let's look at the rubric, okay? Very first thing, analysis of student teaching goals. Now, if you look at this rubric, each one of these is broken down. It's broken down by central ideas, speaking skills, your nonverbal elements, and then those things that come up on your evaluations like commitment to students, commitment to technology, diversity, those sort of things. All right, so the goals. You should be able to state goals for your student teaching. These should be goals regarding your classroom, regarding what you hoped would occur before you were teaching, and within this placement in this semester. These could be personal, professional goals, okay? You need to have your goals laid out. You need to know what they are, why you chose them, and how you were going to work to achieve those, okay? Next thing, insights on effective instruction and assessments. Okay, you should be able to just in conversation right now tell me the best thing that you did in your unit and the worst thing that you did in your unit. What was the most successful? What was the least successful? Why they were successful or not successful, and how you could have changed them to make them better. Okay, it's the next piece of that. The third thing, implications for future teaching. It says candidate provides specific and relevant ideas for redesigned instruction and assessment and explains in detail why these changes would improve student learning. Think about your unit right now. Just everybody think about it, okay? Can you think of Two things right now you would have changed immediately. Taylor's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, Mr. Jarvis, Everybody. Even when I do these presentations and I go back, I'm like, you know what, I should have done this and I should have done this. Or I should have talked about this and this. We can always reflect, all right? Consideration of content instruction. And if you will notice, I am reading from the distinguished column on that rubric. That's what you need to be looking at and shooting for. Candidate provides a thorough explanation, not just an explanation, a thorough explanation for the instructional design making based on data from the assessment plan. Why did you write your unit and teach it the way you taught it? From your data. Interpretation of student learning. Candidate provides extensive evidence on learner achievement and progress made toward the learning goal and or objective. You know those really wonderful charts that you had to put in your TPA? This is where these can come in handy, all right? Samples of student work definitely will come in handy here. Okay. And then implications for personal and professional improvement. Candidate identifies more than 2 areas for improvement and lists and describes a comprehensive plan to improve these areas. What is something you could improve on? Who will just share? I'll share one in just a minute. What is something you could improve on in your teaching?
I still need to work on my classroom management.
Classroom management.
That's what I was going to say.
Somebody else was going to say?
Time management.
Time management.
Communication.
Communication.
Communication as well.
Communication as well. Guys, we all have things we can do better. I have things I can do better. Dr. Lockwood does. You know, we all have things we can work on and improve on and do better. So we should have no trouble identifying more than 2 areas. Okay? Who in here thinks they're an expert on time management? Or classroom management? Or planning? Yeah, or communication. You know, so all of those things. There's 4 right there, right? Think about it. Okay. So that is kind of what I'm going to say is like the meat of your presentation. All right? Now, it should be, let's go back to the instructions now. Okay? Let's look at number 3 where it says for student teachers at the top. It says begin your presentation by introducing yourself to the grading panel and answering the following questions. Do you know why we added that? Because the grading panel will have a list of who's supposed to come in, you know, and what times they're supposed to be there. But we would have people come to the door and come in and sit down and say, what do you want to know? Right? Not, hey, I'm Amanda Priest. So nice to meet you. So nice to see you today. I mean, that is just professional courtesy, introducing yourself. All right? And shaking hands. Just like. So what you need to do is you need to introduce yourself. You need to start with what's your major and your content area? What school did you complete your first placement in? What grade level did you teach? Where are you now for your second placement? And what grade level are you teaching now? Just a brief introduction of your student teaching. Who you are, what your content is, and your student teaching placements. Okay? Present your information in an easy to follow manner. Okay? This rubric, if I was presenting in an easy to follow manner, I would go right in order with this, wouldn't you? Just saying. You can use a PowerPoint. You can use a Prezi. If you want to use technology, you can just do like a hard copy binder. You can do both. Yes.
Are we allowed to do a binder and a presentation?
Yes. Yes. That's what if I did a digital presentation, I would also have some sort of hard copy. I just would. You know, even if you do a PowerPoint and you want to print that out, you know, with the slides, just so they can maybe take notes as you're talking or follow along. Handouts aren't required. They're not required. However, I think it would be helpful. Probably keep you on the right pace. Keep them going. Yes.
Can we, if we do a binder, can we include like those charts that we may have
Sure.
for our TPA and then include student work in there as well?
Yeah. But we're gonna talk about student work here in just a minute, okay? Because this is a really important factor that kept coming up as an issue and a problem, okay? So, we're gonna do this presentation. We're gonna have some sort of visual, okay? I would hope, okay? Present it in an easy to follow manner. Now, let me just say this. You will have to bring your own technology. So if you have it on your iPad and you just want to bring your iPad and set your iPad up, that's probably an easy way to do it. Laptop, same thing. We will not have in the rooms laptop, projector, all of that. Yes.
How many people are going to be on the panel?
There will be 3.
3.
Yeah. If there's any more or any less, I'll let you know. There will definitely be a faculty from Marshall. There will definitely be a university supervisor and then someone from the public schools. Yes.
If we do a binder, is one binder going to be okay since there are 3 people?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
You could do one for each, or you could just do one nice one. It's up to you. Okay? All right. So, speaking skills. This is where Dr. Lockwood always gets tickled at me. But, okay, so let's look at the part of the rubric speaking skills. Diction and vocal inflection, language/grammar, and responding skills. Okay. Clearly enunciates all words. Consistent tone, pitch, and volume. Utilizes professional language. No grammatical errors. Okay. Everybody knows where I'm from, right? From Wayne. All right. So sometimes, like if I am just hanging out with my friends, I just have my honky tonk talk going on. And y'all know Jennifer Jackson that was here. And she got a Rocky Top talk going on. So that's what we call each other in each other's phones. That's what my name is in her phone, honky tonk, Rocky Top. Because that's just how we sound. But then sometimes I have to talk to the dean or I have to give a presentation. And that's when I call it my presidential voice. I rein it all in, and I suck it all up, and I speak the way I should speak when I'm giving a presentation. Does this make sense? Sometimes we will have some I seen that they...
It does happen too.
It does, guys.
You take off points for those.
Yeah. Every example I'm giving you has happened. I'm not making it up. And you know what? My mom, oh my gosh, the worst grammar. Wears me out a little bit. But she's just conversating and she's not giving a presentation, right? Okay. So she can say, I seen that, if she wants to. But you can't. All right? Really, really understand that this is important. Because one day you're going to go into an interview and it's going to be you and 3 other candidates, and if you're the one who says I seen, then they're going to just scratch your name. It will happen. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the speaking skills? Okay. This is important. It's on the rubric. All of this. All right. Nonverbals. These are really important too. Facial expressions and eye contact. Mannerisms to enhance the message. Confidentiality. Business professional dress, and neat and well-groomed. So let's start from the beginning. Facial expressions and eye contact. If I am up here and I do this the entire time that I'm talking to you all, is that cool? No. I've not looked at anybody in this room. I've had students who get really nervous. Do some of you get really nervous? And I've gotten nervous before too. Dr. Lockwood's got nervous. We've all got nervous before. We've had I had a student one time who, she was doing her presentation, and I could just see the hives, and they just kept, and I couldn't do anything but look at her neck and what was happening, because I thought, I'm going to have to call 911 for this person. And she was just really, really nervous. Okay, hint of advice if this is you. One of my best friends, Jenny, she gets what we call the redneck. She gets real nervous and her neck turns red. So she'll wear a scarf if she has to do a presentation. Okay? You need to just make sure that you know yourself well enough. We're all adults here, okay? You know if you get nervous or you don't get nervous doing things, correct? All right. I had another gentleman who walked in one time. He had on a dress shirt, tie, looked really nice. He started talking, and the sweat just started coming. And it was just coming. And it was coming. And it was coming. And I couldn't pay attention to hardly anything he was saying. And when he got up, he was literally wet. His shirt was wet. He could have wrung it out in 20 minutes. So I've had people who had jewelry on and they just did this the whole time. Twisted the necklace. That's you. I had somebody one time who came in and they had on high heels. They were this tall. And they failed. They tripped coming into the room. I mean, don't do that. You know, don't do yourself like that. So that is really important. Mannerisms. I'm a hand talker, you know, but I'm not that kind of hand talker. Okay? Control that. And I'm going to tell you the best way to figure out if you do these things and how to work on them in just a minute. All right, this one right here. This is really important. This is why it's listed on the nonverbal elements under confidentiality and ethics. We had some students who who would put student work in their presentation. Examples of student work, which is great, and I love. And they left the kids' names on them. Don't do that. Take a marker and mark it out. Make sure we can't see it, okay? Or they were talking, and they would be like, oh my gosh, you know, my focus student number 2, Justin Peterson, you know, he was really just a behavior problem, and well, we know what school you were in and what classroom you were in, and you just said this kid's first and last name. Do you see where this is a problem? Okay, and we talk about confidentiality at every seminar, you know, leading up to student teaching, and we talk about it really big at student teaching, but it's really, really important. We had some people who did not pass last semester and had to redo this because of that very piece, was the confidentiality piece. All right, so be very aware and very careful.
They had to redo the presentation?
They did,
Okay.
yeah. Not the student teaching, but they did have to do redo the presentation. All right. This last bit here is really important too. And I'm going to say some things right now, and some people might like me, and some people might not like me after this, but this is how it's going to be. All right? So when I got up this morning, I got dressed to come to work at Marshall University, right? And I knew we were having a presentation. Well, I didn't know it was you all. It was not President Gilbert today or, you know, anything like that. And so I just put this outfit on, put that duster on, it's fine, okay? The outfit I have on today is not fine for this, all right? And most everybody in this room, I'm like looking around, and most everybody is not fine for this, okay? And this is why. This is a really important presentation, all right? And therefore, you should dress accordingly. So you need to dress business professional. Business professional would be, okay, a good example. When we did the CAPE interviews on that Sunday, and a few of you came in and helped me out with that, you know what I had on that day. I had on a black dress, I had on hose, I had on high heel shoes I could walk in, and I had on a jacket with it, okay? Because that's a business professional dress. I was really dressed up that day. If I was going to an interview, when I came here and interviewed, I wore a dress, hose, nice shoes. If I go somewhere else and do an interview, that's what I'm going to do, all right? We all have on nice things. We all have nice clothes, you know, but there's a difference between looking nice for school and looking really nice for a presentation. You know, my husband's a principal. Today he walked out the door, he had on dress pants, a button-up shirt, he had on a blazer over it, he didn't have a tie on or anything, but he looked nice, he looked really good. But if he has to go to a meeting with the state superintendent or even with his superintendent, he's going to wear a shirt and tie. All right? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you have any questions about what you should wear, let me know. We have had people who have attended looking really, really nice for the most part. Everybody does a really good job with this. This is like a job interview, and that's how you need to envision it and see it. So a tie is really a good idea. I'll just say that. A nice dress or dress pants, nice shoes, jacket, anything like that, that's a good idea, okay? I had someone show up one time and they had on, it was it was the very first year, I think, that we did it like this. And when they brought him to the door, it was Tanya, she said, "Did you tell him what to wear?" I was like, "Yeah." And she had on jeans and a button-up long sleeve shirt. But she was one of those students where she didn't really feel like she ever did anything wrong. So she just felt like that was presentable. And guess what? It wasn't. If you do not, I had a gentleman one time who did his and he had on a t-shirt with like a zip up sweatshirt over top of it. He had to redo his. If you do not come dressed appropriately, I have been told that I have to ask you to leave and reschedule because it's a really important part of this, okay? That goes along with being well-groomed, you know. A few years back, you know, just somebody had on way too much makeup. You know, it's not, but this is a professional interview. You're not going out. And it was like somebody who never wore makeup, and then they had on way too much makeup. You know, you guys know how to handle this professionalism, all right? If you have a question about what you should wear or how you should look or anything of that nature, and you want to talk to me by myself, that is perfectly fine. But this is really important just for future implications. Do you understand? Yes. I always tell the story about my husband interviewing a panel of girls and boys, women and men. Sorry. Everybody who's younger than me, I call y'all girls and boys. You know that, right? Even though you're 20s. And the lady had on chipped neon green fingernail polish in the interview. And he couldn't get over it. He was like, she was all right. She wasn't great. And then she had on this chipped green fingernail polish. And it was just like, I thought, ew, if she doesn't care enough about, you know, that, then how's she going to care about the classroom? So think about that. Does anybody have any questions about this right here? No? Okay. This is usually where I make everybody mad. Okay, commitment. Last four points. If you'll see, it says target, acceptable, and unsatisfactory. These are the same things that are listed on your student teaching evaluation. You've seen these before. Commitment to students. Candidate creates a learning environment where all students can learn, treating students equitably, and creating a healthy, safe learning environment. Commitment to diversity. Candidate values and celebrates cultural differences, uses a variety of strategies to meet the needs of all students. Commitment to technology. Candidate integrates age-appropriate and varied technologies into professional instructional practices. Uses technology to enhance the educational experiences by actively engaging students. And last, commitment to profession. Candidate works cooperatively with teacher, colleagues, parents, principals, students, and community leaders to promote learning. Uses available resources to promote professional development. Okay, those things can be embedded in your presentation, right? Yeah. In your presentation, when you are talking about how you taught your unit, are you going to talk about how you use technology in that unit and things that you did? Or you may add on, ways that you were committed to the profession or committed to the students. I know students in this room who have stayed for dances and went to football games and track meets and sat in at PTO and LSIC or parent meetings. I mean, there are a lot of different ways that you can show that you're committed, okay? All right, any questions about those things? Y'all are being awful quiet. I'm not used to this. Okay, so the judging panel. One MU faculty, definitely. One public school evaluator, principal, teacher, or other administrator, someone from the county office. A university supervisor. When I send your appointment time, I will send you a personal email. You know how I send out your placements? It'll be like Amber Ross, this date, this time, this room, this judging panel. It'll tell you exactly what to expect. Now, things happen. Last year, one of our principals who was here judging, a kid fell and broke their leg at her school. So she literally had to give them leave, you know. There have been times where little things have happened like that, or where someone's gotten sick, and so we've had to make adjustments to that panel. It can happen. just don't be freaking out if I told you these 3 people are there when it's actually just 2 people, or 2 people and a different person, all right? So I'll try to let you know ahead of time. Each one of these graders is going to have this rubric that you have, and they're going to fill it out individually per your presentation. And they're going to, do that while you're talking maybe, or they're going to do it when you're finished. And then when you leave the room, then they're going to collaborate and they're going to do a collaborative rubric together, okay? Understood? Yes?
Well, the public school evaluator, is that going to be someone who specializes in your field? It's like
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say that, possibly. Okay, so how it's scored. It's scored by the rubric, and you have to have a 3.0 or higher to pass. If you notice, every single component that I went over, I talked to you in the 4 area, didn't I? Okay? The 3 area, if you'll look at that, is just a little bit different. There's, instead of, like the well-dressed, okay? Candidate is dressed in a highly professional manner. Candidate is dressed in a professional manner. Generally neat and well-groomed, or neat and well-groomed. So, there you go. Or, let's look at another one here. I'm ended up on the wrong page. Okay, like implications for personal and professional improvement. Candidate identifies more than 2 areas for improvement and lists and describes a comprehensive plan to improve these areas. That's a 4. The 3 is candidate identifies 2 areas for improvement and lists and describes a plan to improve these areas. Instead of just saying 2 things and how you would improve, to make that's a 3. You say 3 things and have a plan on how you would improve, and you just got a 4. Get where I'm going with that? It's a little bit different. It should not be difficult to handle those. Okay, so how do you prepare? First off, I would prepare with a visual aid, okay? That would be like, if you do not have some sort of visual aid, that would be like me coming in here today without this and without this and without the rubric to go by and just rattling this off. If I practiced it about 10 or 15 times, then yeah, I could probably do that. But I still like to have some notes. President Gilbert has notes when he's talking, Everybody has something that they go by. So you need some sort of aid. Also, with the technology, I think it's a good idea. A PowerPoint or a Prezi or something like that. Yes?
So you're not gonna have a projector for us to
No.
look up to, so we're just gonna what, turn our laptops
Turn it around. Yeah. iPad, something like that. This is going to be held, these interviews are held in these small interview rooms that are down this other hallway on the flip side of this. It's like a conference room, okay? So there's not any sort of projector or anything like that, and we don't have enough laptops and enough, and we talked about, I had even talked about over in Drinko, those presentation rooms they have there, but to reserve those, and you have to give up there and give a presentation, and there's 3 people in the audience, that would be a little intimidating to me. So I think that the conference room is much better. So bring your laptop if you have it, or iPad or something like that. Just turn it around and show. Yes?
Just a quick question. So if we use that, and like we need to change slides on the laptop, will we lose points or anything? Do we have to bring those up and keep tapping the keys?
No. I mean, obviously.
Like one of them, I know they make these things now where you can stand off to the side.
Yeah, I could have done this
Yeah,
today
right.
and presented from back here, but I'm not.
Okay,
I mean,
so that's not required. We ain't gonna lose any points.
no. Was it distracting with me changing the slides today? No. And I was kind of looking. It's fine. That
Okay.
part of it is fine. As long as you don't come in there, not be able to get your computer turned on, not be able to get your stuff pulled up, take 5 minutes doing that. You should be ready to go when you come in. Understood? All right. Evidence. You need to have evidence to back up what you're saying, whether it's a chart, whether it's student work. You need to be able to show this is what you did and this is how you achieve this, okay? Or maybe your students didn't do so well and this is the evidence that they didn't do so well and this is why. all right? Take this rubric and just read it and read it and read it and read it and read it over and over again, okay? Understand what it means, understand what it's saying. If you have a question about any of the wording, you can always ask, always let me know. But the biggest thing that I can tell you to do, all caps, practice. Even now, I've been doing this for a while. If I have to give a presentation, okay, when we started doing TIRs, okay, I had to go to one of the county Board of Education meetings and present what the TIR was and how it would be beneficial to their county if they went with our contract on the TIR, okay? There were people in that room, the superintendent was in the room, the Board of Education members were in the room, there were parents in the room. It was like this huge thing. It was actually at one of the local schools. It wasn't just like a little board meeting. And I was nervous. So guess what I did? I was like, okay, Bill, sit here. All right, I'm gonna do this, and if you don't understand something or you think I did something wrong, I want you to stop me and tell me what I need to work on. This is not one of those opportunities, this is not one of those like instances where you think that you are perfect and you don't need to practice and you got this and it's in the back. That's not one of these things. You need to practice with somebody. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad, your kid, make them listen, somebody. Practice with your computer. Practice your speaking skills. If you bought a new outfit, put it on and try, because there's nothing worse than being uncomfortable, being miserable, and having to give this presentation, okay? Practice your presentation, yes.
I saw that it says it has to be 20 minutes. Are they going to stop us?
Okay,
Or
that's-
do we have to?
Okay, what we have done in the past, that's what I was gonna say, that's one of my next, I think that's on my next slide. Everybody is scheduled in 30-minute increments. So we'll have 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30, okay? So let me just say this, if you're scheduled at 9, what time do you think you need to be here? 8:30. Need to be here at 8:30,
At the
okay?
latest.
At the latest, yeah. Have your stuff together, be ready to go. Do not come in here like I did this morning on 2 wheels, running up the steps, out of breath, late. Just don't. It's not good for anybody. Before I was leaving today, you know, Tammy that works in my office, because I had a meeting and I had to do the meeting and then I had to get over here. And I was like scrambling to get myself here. She said, stop right now and just take a deep breath and you're not leaving until you do. I was like, okay. And then I was fine. Don't do that to yourself. There's no reason to. Just be here early. This is where you're going to report to. Let me just go ahead and say this because sometimes there's some confusion. When you walk out here right now, and we're on this side of the Student Center, if you walked out of here and you go left and you walk out towards like the 5th Avenue side, you know what I'm talking about? You can look out the windows there. There's a bunch of couches and chairs and things like that. It's like a lounge area. That's where you'll report to. Just report to there. Tanya usually does all my check-ins, or one of the GAs or workers in the office. You'll find them. I'll usually email you that morning. People who are doing their presentations today, look for this person in the Student Center. But come up to the 2nd floor, go over there and have a seat, okay? Do not go straight to the room and open the door. We've had that happen. Why? The person in front of you is probably still going. What if you were doing your presentation and somebody just opened the door? Oh my gosh, would it just ruin your day? It would make me nervous and I would get all probably flustered. So do not do that. Just report over here. Tanya will likely be the one checking you off and making sure you're here on time and everything's good. And she will usually walk you back to the room that you're supposed to go to, okay? But practice. Do not just go into this, you know, by the seat of your pants. This is really important. Anytime I've ever interviewed for a job or given a major presentation like this, I've practiced for it. You know, when I even interviewed for this job, I asked my husband, I was like, hey, ask me some questions you think they'll ask me. And guess what? They did. They asked me some of those questions. So just know that.
So there's a questioning part as well?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. After your presentation, this is how I would end it. Does anyone have any questions? And what if they say, hey, RJ, can you go back to where you were talking about student growth there? Would you be able to answer that? Yeah. They're not going to ask you anything like out of the way, crazy. All right? They're going to ask you things that they either need you to clarify, or they're gonna ask you things that maybe you missed in your presentation, and they just wanna make sure you hit it, right, Mr. Johnson? Am I saying all this right?
Yes, you're
Okay.
correct.
All right, thank you. All right, and the last thing I added here, be able to discuss areas of improvement. We have had people, when it came to, how do you think you could improve? And you know how we all just started shouting out things? We have had people who have said, I really don't think I can. I'm not making this up. I mean, I really think that I am just as good as I'm ever going to be. No, you're not. No, I'm not. Nobody in this room is.
I was too critical.
Yeah, I am perfect. So hire me now. So anyway, be able to discuss your areas of improvement. You know, I said something here. Maybe this is a problem you have. You know, maybe something you could improve on is getting more involved in the school. You know, because sometimes teachers want to leave at 3:10 when the bell rings, because this is a hard profession, and we all know this now, right? Yeah. How many of you have not been tired? Not been tired every other day since you've been doing this. Everybody's tired, and there were days when I was like, I cannot wait to just get home and just sit down and not have to think about anything for 5 minutes. But then there were days when we were having a dance after school, and it wasn't mandatory, but I probably should stay. I know somebody who stayed the other day. I'm looking at her right now. Because the principal that I live with came home and complimented her and said, oh, she stayed for the dance. And he doesn't even have all the staff. They don't even stay. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's something you could work on. Or maybe just putting yourself out there a little bit more. Okay? Building professional relationships. Maybe you've kept to yourself a lot during this experience, you know, and you've just kind of hung tight to your teacher and maybe not really gotten to know anybody else in the building. Maybe that's one way you could do that. Okay? All right, so just be able to discuss that, please. All right, so the schedule. I'm scheduling for November 14th. I've got 14th through 16th, but I think I can get everybody done 14th and 15th. Okay? It's held in these conference rooms over here. You'll be notified of an appointment time, a location, and your panel by November 8th. I kind of almost have them done already, but anyway. Because I am perfect and I don't need to, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, here's what I need. Here's something, because there's going to be a few of you right now that are thinking this in your head, and you're worried about it, and I don't want you to worry. So this is just one of these things that I do. If there is somebody within the College of Education that maybe you have had a disagreement with, a professor or something, and you would rather them not be on your panel, you can shoot me an email and let me know. But they may not even be judging them, you know. That is kept completely confidential between me and you. I don't tell anybody. I just move you to a different group. If let's say, for instance, that I did have you with that person, I would just move you here and move somebody else there. It's not a big deal. If the 14th you have something going on at school that day, like a concert or something that you are really, or a play that you're really a part of, and you really don't want to miss it with the kids, let me know. We'll schedule for the different day. Or if you're teaching a unit or something. I mean, just, you know, you can't tell me though, I need to come on the 14th, and if I could sleep in that morning and you could just have me get there about 10:30, that would be great. That is not how this works. Okay? If there are specific circumstances that would keep you or help you from doing a certain day, just let me know. All right? Okay. Now, questions. Yes?
So for the music people, we have an email saying ours is on the 27th?
Yes, music is not on the 14th or the 15th because Dr. Nina is going to be out of town that week. Okay? And she will sit on your panel, obviously. So, I'm not sure of who else is going to be sitting on it. I will tell you in the past, Dr. Dalton has sat on them before. She has sat on them. Captain Walden obviously was sat on it. So, I'm not sure. I'm gonna get that information from her and I will let you know, okay? All right, guys, listen because you may have the same question. Yes, Kyle?
Yes, I was going to ask about students who may not be teaching in the local Marshall area.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually living back home and teaching in Logan County, so
Right.
I'm wondering about students in my position. Where and when would our capstone presentations be?
Same. They're gonna be here.
All right.
Yeah. Everybody's is going to be here, okay? On campus. Yes.
Do we, if our interview is in the later half of the day, do we go to our placement
You
and
do.
then leave?
Yeah.
And then go back?
Yeah. This would be my suggestion. This is what I always say. So let's say your interview is at 2:00. Okay. So, and you're teaching in an elementary school. All right. So you do not want to wear that outfit all day in your classroom and then zip over here and do your presentation. Okay. So let's say I say, okay, just make sure you can leave about 12:45, 1:00, run home and change, get everything together, and then be here by 1:30. Does that make sense? Okay. Same thing goes if your presentation is in the morning. Let's say if it's anywhere, 10 before, depending upon where you're at. Some of you are in Charleston. You have to drive an hour. Logan, you have to drive an hour. That's going to make, it's going to be an adjustment. We will adjust with that. I'm not going to tell you you have to go to school at 7:30 and stay for 30 minutes and then get in the car and leave. I'm not going to do that. So, okay? Obviously, you would just come here and then go back to school in the afternoon. It is not a free day, okay? You have to, the way, it depends on how you're scheduled for the day, whether you will go in the morning or the afternoon. So, questions? Yes?
Now, will any interviews be held for later?
Be what, I'm sorry?
Be held like 4 p.m. or later?
No.
Okay.
They will be held before 4 p.m. Was that your question? Yeah. Yeah. The way I've got them blocked right now is I have 9 to noon or 1 to 4 is how the graders are set up. That way one person's not grading for 6 straight hours or hearing presentations for 6 straight hours. That's a lot. So hearing 6 presentations is a lot of presentations. So we try to give everybody a little bit of a just here or there kind of thing. Other questions? Yes.
You talked about using samples of their
Mhm.
work.
How you gonna do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have any good video,
Nah.
you were the video person, right? I remember now. You may not be able to. I was gonna say, if you have, sometimes we've had students who had a great, their great activity. They had it on video and they were like, okay, this is fine, and so they had a snippet of it. Now, I will say this. This is not like the TPA where we say at 15:01 we turn you off, okay? I've sat on a lot of panels. This is how we've done it in the past. I would tell the student at the beginning, I'm gonna give you a signal when we are at 18 minutes, and I'm gonna give you another signal when we're at 20 minutes, like a wrap it up, okay? I wouldn't stop you or embarrass. Now, there have been a few that I've listened to who were just sort of rambly, and they weren't hitting everything on their rubric, and I knew they weren't going to, and I would stop and say, can we talk about this? Just to move them on, okay? So that is where that practice really comes into play. Time yourselves. If you know you've got 20 minutes, when you're practicing and you're giving this presentation for somebody, time yourself using your technology, showing them the examples, going through there, and just make sure that you are not, coming up at 10 minutes or coming up at 35 minutes. We don't want either one of those. So, other questions? None? No other questions? Yes.
Are these presentations based on just the unit we use for the TPA?
They
or
are.
For the entire?
They're based on that unit, but then when you're going into implications for growth, you're going to obviously talk about the full experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we can include, like, if we did professional development in the placement we are now.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Yes.
So if management was one thing that we isolated as a goal
Mhm.
from our first placement, but in our second placement, we have a different group of kids
Sure.
and management situations occur with those that didn't occur with the first group.
Mhm.
Can we discuss that?
Yeah.
How we've had to tackle those?
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great plan. Yes, sir.
Hey, Amanda, I'm requiring mine to do SMART goals
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the capstone.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all still require that, or is that a requirement? Or- I like SMART goals myself.
I like them too. We've not made it a requirement. Some supervisors, I know Roz Smith, she has you do SMART goals. Anybody else do SMART goals? They're good when it comes to this kind of thing. You know, you already have your goals really laid out.
Already
So,
got it.
yes,
Do
yes.
Do you want a copy, like, when we give our presentation of our lesson plan inside of it?
I don't think it's necessary. You could. A lot of students will include like a copy of their unit in their binder. I will just say that I would thumb through that. I wouldn't read it, you know. So, I mean, I think it'd be nice if you had a copy on hand just in case there was a question. But, you know, it's not really a necessary.
Yeah, so we don't have to just be like, okay, day one.
Day one, I did this. Day two, no, not at all. All right. Any other questions? Yes.
So what if you hit all of the parts and you cover it in the rubric and you're under, let's say, 20 minutes?
Okay.
Is that?
I mean, as long as it's not 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 18 minutes? Yeah, okay. All right, so let's talk about this. Nobody's asked this question. What do you think the question is? What if,
What if something goes wrong?
or,
What if I bone it?
what if I fail? You know?
Why would you put that thought in your mind?
I know, right? I will just say this, you know, sometimes it happens every semester. And so if that happens, I will reach out to you, I will contact you, I will let you know, I'll send you a copy of the rubrics and where you scored, and that way you can reflect on maybe why you got 2s in a certain area or 1s or this and that. And then I will contact you about a redo. All right? Yes.
So if we pass, you're not gonna contact us?
No, I'm gonna tell you either way.
Either way.
Yeah. Here's my plan. If y'all look at the calendar, the 16th is the Friday before that Thanksgiving week, right? Okay. Who is off the full week for Thanksgiving at their placement? Okay. So am I. I'm taking the full week off here. So here's the plan. I will have all of those rubrics back. I will scan those. I will notify you on the 16th. If I can get everybody scheduled 14th, 15th, you'll know on the 16th whether you passed or failed if you do this. Because I'm pretty great like that. You know, you need to remember, no, I'm just kidding. I will stay late and work late if I have to get that done, because I don't want that hanging over everybody's head for another extra week. You know, yes.
And what happens if we don't pass our TPA? Is that, we're supposed to get our
Okay.
back to that a week before?
Yes. Okay, so, good question. I was going to talk about the TPA. So, once those TPA scores start rolling in, guys, you need to know this because somebody's going to send me a question about it and I'm going to be answering it. Once those TPA scores start coming in, I sent you all that email on Friday. Candace or I1 will send you an email. If you pass, guess what it'll say? Congratulations, you've passed your TPA. That's it. That's literally like what it says. If you did not pass, she will send you an email, and it will say on task 3, number whatever, please clarify this, please identify this, please. You see what I'm saying? It will be laid out exactly as to what needs to be redone. Okay? If for some reason it's just not good, we'll likely pull you in, we'll have a conversation, and you'll have to redo it. Okay? Obviously that is like the last thing ever that we ever want anybody to do. I'm trying to even think. You know, we've had people not pass the TPA, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? Because they just didn't do what they were supposed to do, and then when it came time to resubmit it, they just chose not to resubmit it, and they ended up like withdrawing for the semester. Yeah, they got a no credit for student teaching. Maybe they went on to a different college. I don't know. But I mean, to get to this point, and just have to resubmit one time, resubmit what you've done, and to choose not to do it, that's just something you need to think about. Yes, sir.
How long after we receive our feedback, if we need to redo something, will we have to get it done?
You have a week. Well, those dates will all be laid out for you. You'll need to get it finished, resubmit, then the grader will it'll be like a week turnaround. They'll have a week to check it, get back with you, et cetera, et cetera. Yes?
That was my question, like, if we redo it and it's not graded for the second time before our interview, is that okay?
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's the thing, in the interview, you don't have to disclose, this is my TPA, this is the unit I taught, but I haven't passed my TPA yet. That's not the grading panel's priority, and that is not their business. Their business is this presentation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yes?
Are you going to teach us how to apply for a job?
Yes, that is my next thing. I'm going to teach you exactly how to, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, at our final seminar, I hope to have Debbie Smith there from Cabell County Schools, and I hope to have Chanda Perry here from Wayne County Schools to talk to you about their application processes. You've already had Beth Wall talk to you about how to do a resume. So we need to get some people working ASAP.
We're hoping to have somebody come too from grad school too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's about the grad school program.
Right.
So we're gonna have to get on that.
Yeah, because there are so many, listen, there are a ton of opportunities for you all. Some of you want to go straight out and get a job, which is great. Some people who are not even in this room are on the job right now because they're in a TIR. There are some of you who do not want to teach right now and you want to go to grad school. There are GA positions. There are tons of different ways that you can do this. And we want everybody to be successful. Obviously. So, yes, ma'am.
When is our final seminar?
I don't have my calendar in front of me. I'll send it to you today. I think it's November 30th, but I could be wrong. Do not write that down. Don't. I know somebody's wrote it down and said, Miss Priest said it was there. No, I didn't. I think it is, but I don't know. I gotta look. Maybe it's 29. I don't know. Okay, yes.
Can we get information about transferring our license?
Yes.
Okay.
Tammy will either come to our final seminar or she will give me all the info about how you process your license, how you transfer it to Ohio or another state, what you need to do. So what we recommend, I will just tell you right off, the first thing she's going to say is everybody in here needs to go ahead and get a West Virginia license. And just do that, and then the reciprocity that we have with other states will go back and forth. Okay. All right. Any other capstone questions? Yes.
So even if we do pass the interview, you said we'd get the rubric back to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I scan every single one. And so, okay, let me turn this off because I hate this looking at me. Hang on.